Hi team and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now what I've got here is a People Tag right-hand drive E46 steering rack. It's been sent in and I've been instructed to overhaul it, and with that we'll go into a restoration project. It will then be as good as new and it should last. Now before I get too carried away and we start throwing time and money at it, I thought I'd just show you a quick check. I find this quite common now, and I thought, well, if I just show this and then it might help some of you out. Now the first sort of dead giveaway with these racks is the grease. The grease should not be rusty brown, and you can see here, if we go in a bit closer, you can see for sure it's gone quite rusty. Now I've had some people argue with me and say, no, that's how they were, they used a brown grease. Well, it was more, yeah, it might have been sort of brown, but it was more sort of a yellow colour. And I've got a piece of white paper, I'll just go grab it actually, and we'll do like a drawdown test. We'll do like what a painter would do a drawdown sort of colour comparison, or a painter or printer. So with this bit of paper here, I have a tube of new grease next to me, and with that we'll just do draw a line down with the new grease, and as you can see, quite a sort of yellow, sort of off yellow sort of colour. Now if we just clean that off that screwdriver, and then we'll just take a sample from the rack itself, some through here. This rusty brown colour, you can definitely see it, the white paper helps show it, a definite very rusty brown. So there we go. Now the problem with that though is it's showing us that it's had moisture, so it's either had a torn boot at some stage, or it's had condensation perhaps. So getting back to these teeth, now I've just cleared a segment of grease away from here to speed the video up, to save time. And if we just go in a bit closer, you can see how there's a definite witness sort of mark going up through here. So the pinion in this, if we just go back out again, the pinion housed in the sort of the head of the rack up here is at an angle, and then it sort of stretches across several teeth at once. So that part there is the straight ahead position. So that's the point of the rack that sort of seems to get a lot of use and tends to wear the most. But being that it's had water damage and rust, it's damaged the hardening in the sense where it sort of accelerated that wear process. So looking at these teeth, you can see here sort of the adjacent tooth, the original sort of square sort of nicely cut profile, and as you follow these teeth up you can see the thickness of the tooth actually changes. Same with this one here. So just bring that into the camera a bit closer. Once again you can see a definite sort of profile that tapers down to quite a substantial amount of narrowing. Looking at the trough or the base of that sort of the teeth here, you can see quite a sort of squarish profile at the very base. But because there's been quite excessive wear, that whole area here has been worn on that hardening, and it's quite rounded out at the bottom too. So this will manifest itself, I suppose, in a sense where this rack would show over time quite a bit of play in the straight ahead position. Maybe when driving you'll feel sort of a floaty feeling. If we tried to adjust that rack sort of play or take that play out, we'd possibly take the play out of here, but as you move along the rack to the areas that aren't as worn as much, you will find that the rack will bind. So with that said, there's no point in rebuilding this rack, because we'll find that over time there will be complaints with the handling. And not just that, if it was to go for an inspection, say a safety inspection or a warrant of fitness as you'd have in New Zealand, it would most likely fail for play within the steering rack. Alright team, thanks for watching.